Hey, what's going on, Distorted friends and fam? We're back with a base link video. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new bases for y'all to try out, and I'm gonna kind of brief walk through them and tell you what I know about them, and I hope they do well for you. Okay, so this first base is going to be. It's kind of a town hall off center to the 12 o'clock. I have tested this base a couple times, and it kind of goes 50-50. It really depends on how good of a value they get with the RC charge to create that funnel. But you have so many hard hitting defenses in the 12 o'clock. You have the, multi gear tower, the mono, the town hall, multi archer tower, and then it's followed up by all this stuff down here that is also, targeting. You have the spitters, you have double poison, which is going to slow everything down through these like high defense DPS structures. So you have the scatters, ricochet cannons all around. I mean, it is a tough base to get to because the defenses are well spread out throughout the base. So even on that RC charge, you're really not going to get a ton of value, just a good funnel, to be honest. So, I am not using this one in Legend Leagues. It is a good base, especially for Wars and Legend League, but I would recommend this base at like, I don't know, 56 to 5700, to try to spike up to get to that 5700. And then, from there, I'm a firm believer in isolated town hall bases in the core there. I think that those are the best bases in the game right now, or invisible town hall bases, for a few different reasons. But first of all is the risk of a 1-star is greater than the risk of all these triples with these other bases. Like it literally comes down to just risk management. That's what I prefer. And I put up around 300 trophies a day on all three of my accounts, and I see the biggest success with running these isolated town hall bases. So even this one, for example, right? We have the isolated mono, isolated town hall with the invisible spell tower. So this is an anti 2-star base. It is jam-packed with defenses down here. So if the RC charges down here, it's going to get taken out because of all these giant bombs. And if it charges anywhere else, it might get a decent bit of value, but then when those troops, whatever they are, drags or root riders, get down into this area, it's just going to get hammered. So yeah, this base I would recommend more than the first one, especially if you're over 5,800 trophies, because, like I said, risk management. I'm a gambling man, so I would prefer risking a easier 3-star because the town hall's isolated, which honestly, because of the town hall and the eagle artillery mixing into what is now the eagle town hall, whatever it's called, it's like that is a defense alone that is so valuable. Granted, it doesn't have the poison spell when it goes away like Town Hall 16 did, but it just puts out so much damage, and it's so isolated here. You have to like really funnel your troops well and use like these defenses to guide those troops into that core. So 5,800, I would be using this base. I also got this base from a like 5,900 trophy range player, so top like 1,000. Actually, I think it was like top 200 actually. So it's a really good base. Definitely try it out for Legend League. I can't speak to it to War. I haven't tried it for War yet, but I guarantee you that it is good for Legend League. I like I've said, full disclosure, if it's your first time watching this, it doesn't matter how good a base is. If the right person hits it, it will triple, right? So take that into consideration. I know you'll get defenses with this. It's kind of an oddball base with an isolated town hall and invisible spell tower. So, take the risk if you're willing to go for that one. This base we've actually posted on the last video, but it is still holding very well. Gaku is still running it. I think Klaus is still running it on one of his accounts. Like, it is a very good base, and simply because the town hall is so isolated. You're going to see a common trend with this, especially with me narrating and giving commentary. Like, I am pro town hall isolated bases right now. I've run town hall bases that are on the outsides or diamonds or square bases, and nothing is defending. All three of my accounts are at 57, 50 plus. My highest is at 58, 50, I think. Like, none of the bases that are working are the bases that are working are all isolated town halls. That's just what it is. I have found a consistent way to triple this base. I usually do the RC charge through all these traps down here, keep it alive, and then activate the invisible spell tower, and then roll through. My drags will take out the town hall. Actually, usually the mini prince gets to the town hall somehow. I don't know. It's not very calculated, but I just know it works every time. So, I mean, you see this base so many times in Legends. Yeah, I hope you get a way to triple it pretty decently. So, not much more to explain on this base, guys. It's a consistently good base from the last time I posted, which was like 2 weeks ago. Okay, so still a good base. Okay, now this one. This is a newer one that came up. Again, it's not the isolated town hall that I typically like to speak and preach about, like what I've been doing. But I will say that this one does, and you might have seen this base. It's a little bit more common, but that's because it's getting the defenses, right? If people are charging over here with the RC, the Spirit Fox is getting blown up by those giant bombs. If, like the isolated mono here, it's really hard to funnel because as soon as you drop that RC, it's going to follow these wizard towers and bomb towers and go around the outside, right? So the mono's getting a ton of value. On the back side, you have the multi-gear tower right over the town hall with a ton of seeking air mines, and then you have multi-target infernos in the core with rage spitters. A lot of defense spread across this base. A lot of defenses. Hey, if all these bases are good, guys. Seriously, all of these bases I pulled from players that are above 5,800 trophies. Okay, now I'm not a big fan of these. I like isolated town hall in the middle. I would much rather risk a 1-star than a town hall on the outside. I hope that you enjoy that kind of method and it works out for you. It's just my personal preference. Okay, this is another one that's it actually is a little bit of an isolated town hall just because you don't have a ton of defense structures or other structures going into the core there. Or into the town hall compartment, but enough to where it's not considered like an isolated town hall. It's got some traits, right? RC charge going into this, they probably are going to charge at the mono, but if you look at it, they're really only going to get, if they get to the mono, it's really hard to funnel to get to the RC of the mono, but it's going to take out the archer tower, air defenses, probably the expos, ricochet cannons, and then go outside, right? So the mono is very isolated, probably not going to get it unless you use like the rocket spear on the entry for the RC. Which could work, and then you create a good funnel for sending in your roots either from the 9 or 3 o'clock, and then taking that L shape, V shape to this base specifically. So it's a good base. Again, I took it from a top 1,000 player. I think these were specifically like 5,900. This one, so. They're working for people, right? I'm providing you a tool for your tool belt. I hope that you can use it and it works out great because, there's just so many options right now. This is kind of a new fun one that I came across. It has the double invisible spell towers, which I love the invisible spell tower bases. This one is actually really hard to funnel as well, just because, and we've seen variations of this base since Town Hall 16. But this one is, another variation of it. It's easy to activate because you can do a giant arrow right down the core, but, if you were to do it at the workshop, it would trigger both of those invisible spell towers, and then probably get a sweeper there if you're doing drags. But I'm still pro these bases, guys. I would run this base before I ran the last base, just because that's my MO. I just enjoy that a little bit better. Plus, when you get like 1-star defenses and you see like minus 10, minus 15 at the best case scenario, you're just like, it's a relief. I can relax a little bit in Legend League. If I fail an extra one, cool. It's not the last week of season, so I'm not trying hard 100%. I'm just like getting triples as I get them, and then once the last, probably 4 days comes around, then it's like, all right, I need to grind and get serious. But right now I'm just trying to maintain. And in maintaining, I'm running bases like this just because I see a lot more value added. I see a lot more risk management, and that's what I'm about. So that leads us into this base. Here you go. Isolated Town Hall base. I love this base. I think that, it's kind of an easy prediction that your RC charge is going to go from this hidden Tesla, or, they don't see the hidden Tesla, but they're going to start it off right here and take out the mono right away and probably take out the 2 spitters, right? So they're getting a good value with that. But then you're kind of stuck. You don't really have a good funnel, and it's so heavily trapped in this backside here that it really, really, really is going to be tough to get by, whether you're doing roots or drags. You have the multi-gear tower, multi-archer towers, you have sweepers, expos, ricochet cannons, scatters, and it's all raged up over there. So bases like this, yeah, you're sacrificing a little bit up front, but when it comes to the backside and your troops getting that flank, I just see 1 stars. I see 2 stars that are probably high percent. I would trade like 3 2-star 90% over like a triple, or you could just, you're obviously right, but you're getting so many more trophies when it comes down to it. So yeah, I think you're saving a lot of defenses for the backside of this raid, which is huge. And it's an isolated town hall, so you have the risk of the 1 star. All right, last one for the video. I saved the best for last, in my opinion. The person that I pulled this from is currently at like 5950. They were like top 100 at end of day last night. And, going into the last 2 weeks of season, this would be a good base to, just jump on and see how high you can climb. And then maybe by then I'll post another video on like more bases that I'm pulling from the top players. But again, you have heavy defenses over here, which is trapping for this mono if the RC is going to be charging it. And then, over here you have the sweepers that are facing the other way for the drags. You have multi-gear tower ricochet, multi-archer, expos, scatters. Like, again, very well spread out. The only place where it's really weak is between this fire spitter and this expo, but you actually have the fire spitters facing that direction. So I think this is a very well-designed base. I think that you're getting a lot of, I like the odds in a 1-star in this base because there's a lot of dead space in between that town hall, right? And nothing's really going to go towards it except for like the CC, the defending CC, if you're pulling that way. So, maybe the tornado trap, but still not enough to where it's going to be pulling them that much into the town hall. So I like this base a lot. Like I said, all of these bases are great. There's 8 bases that you can save to your library and use in Legend League. If you have multiple accounts, rotate them through a little bit. All of these bases that I pulled were from 5800 plus. They are all very, very good bases, right? And the people that represent them, like, hey, you could be like, Det, I just disagree with you. I like the anti 3-star bases with double poison towers off to the sides, town halls in a corner, box bases, ring bases, diamond bases, whatever. But and then maybe that's your cup of tea, but it's just not mine. I'm speaking from my personal experience, and I'm not a top 200 player, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So these are the bases, guys. I hope that you will use these and you have good luck with them. And yeah, if I'll be posting another video here probably tomorrow, but I hope that you guys have a great night. You enjoy the bases, and we'll see you on the next one.